It hurts when I do this, so it's bad and I shouldn't do it. And that sounds logical, and people do abide by this kind of approach in a lot of cases. People come in and say, oh, I had this pain doing a particular activity, so I stopped doing it, so it got better, and then when I returned to it, it came back. The reality is that, that's not going to solve the problem if it's an underlying issue that's still at play there. Obviously, if someone has an acute trauma with something out of the ordinary and they generally rest as such, then they're probably going to heal and recover and be able to return, even though that's not the most optimal way of going about things. But this approach of avoidance tactics around problems and avoiding these issues, is this the right way to manage pain, manage injury and recover back to normal? And even more interestingly, does the way that you think about pain influence pain itself? Can you actually make something hurt by thinking that it hurts? Now, we know that exercise induces hypoalgesia, so pain pressure sensitivity is actually reduced, so you don't feel as much pain if you prod and you poke and stuff if you've been exercising, and this therefore is a pain relieving component. So here we're looking at a randomized controlled trial where they looked at this hypoalgesic effect of exercise-induced hyperalgesia. They exercised the thigh muscle with an isometric squat, and they were detecting if that exercise influenced the pain levels that they would experience. But more importantly, what they did here is they actually gave them either negative or positive information about how they were going to be with regards to pain. So there were 83 total participants, 28 were told positive things, 28 were told neutral things, and 27 were told negative things about what they were going to expect to find in pain terms after the exercise. So obviously the neutral group is kind of your control group here. Now they assessed the muscle that was being worked, the thigh muscle, the quads, and they also measured the upper trapezius for pain pressure sensitivity as well to see if it was influencing pain in other parts of the body, even if you train somewhere else. And this is obviously very interesting and informative, because if someone's got an injury somewhere and you know that exercise induces lowering of pain in that area, maybe you don't need to train that area. Maybe you can train somewhere else and you still get the pain relieving effect to the injured site, which is obviously a beneficial approach. Now, the people's expectations were measured on a scale, a numerical rating scale, and it went from -10 to +10 to see if they were negative in how they felt it was going to be an expectation, or positive in how they felt it was going to be an expectation for pain or pain relief. So what did they find? So in the quadriceps and the upper trapezius, the positive group had a massively different effect compared to the negative group in their actual pain relief. So the positive group had a 22% increase in the pain pressure test, whereas the negative group were a 4% reduction. They actually worsened their pain pressure sensitivity. And this shows there is a positive correlation between someone's expectations. If you can influence their expectations in a positive direction, they will get better pain relief. If you influence their expectations in a negative direction, they will get a worse pain response. They will tolerate less pain effectively. And these are really important. So it shows you that you do need to impart some optimism in people, and expectations need to be good. You don't want to over promise, but you don't want to under promise either. Otherwise you'll be negatively affecting their pain, which then negatively affects their rehab, which negatively affects their function, and so on and so forth. So it's very important stuff, this. So this is interesting because they did find, although the largest difference was obviously the local area, but they did find the upper trapezius was also improved with the positive group. So this shows that, overall, you can influence someone somewhere else in positive thinking, and obviously in other areas of their body, even if the exercise you're achieving is actually going to be from something else. So there's two things here. Is exercise itself gets you hyperalgesia, it lowers your pain levels, and it doesn't do it exclusively to the area you're training. So if someone's got a bad neck, you can drain their leg and they'll get a drop in pain. And if you can then tell them this will help your pain, then they will get a good pain relief from this. Whereas if you tell them, oh, you can exercise, but it will make your pain worse, or if it doesn't help, maybe it's not so effective. But bear in mind, you can train locally if you're able to, and also away from the site. Interesting stuff, showing that obviously the psychology of pain and the physiology of that is obviously very relevant. And it's just another interesting, review here to see what actually the influence of expectation with exercise on lowering pain levels actually is, and it is interesting stuff. So anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.